Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures, and looky what I got a hold of today. I actually stumbled across a store that, number one, actually stocked Conquest in person, but number two, actually had the Wadroon models available. So we got the Braves today. And the Braves also make the Blooded, but they didn't have that box. I got the Brave one. I am going to hopefully be getting my faction starter taster first blood kit in the near future, so hopefully we'll see that as well. But in the meantime, you can take a good long look at these. So in case you haven't noticed or been made aware, Conquest models are usually made for rank and file games. They do have a skirmish version, but they do have the necessary big unit regiment bases to have everybody pile on top of. Let's get to the real meats of the box. I'm kind of surprised we went back to the long ones, to be honest. The material for the paper instructions are a little bit different this time. We have cards for both the Blooded and the Braves. So if you buy one box or the other, it's not going to make a huge difference other than what's actually on the outside of the package. Let's take a closer look here. Everything on the inside is completely, it's all a dual kit. The big difference is the Blooded are the ones that have the dual weapons, whereas the Braves are going to carry spears and shields. See them there. Commander gets, there are a couple of options, either a feathered head or a skull. Good to know. Couple of command options there, different weapons, and then we have our banners as well with big hunkin' dinosaur skulls on them. Cool. I personally can't wait for the dinosaurs. I am really looking forward to those. Let's take a look at the actual sprues. Now, these are looking really sharp, I gotta say. Still not 100% sure where these are being made, other than the fact that they say they are being made in Poland, which leads me to believe that Archon is the manufacturer of these. And if they are, that's pretty awesome. They are looking really, really sharp. I believe this is the command sprue. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure. It is its own separate little piece. But we do have two of them, so never mind. In the box, you are going to have enough pieces to build 12 figures. This is the command sprue, because you can see the big banners hanging off of everything. Feather face, dinosaur skull, horned skull, double-handed weapon, and then we have 3 of the main sprues. This is where you're going to find the actual bodies. They're pretty big, and thankfully, much like the older plastics, they're going to have everything labeled on them nice and neat. That is quite handy when you're putting things together. I'm not seeing it so much on the arms, but I don't think that's going to be much of an issue. I think all of the hands are basically interchangeable, and it actually, a nice touch, the shields are not attached to the hands, so you can glue them in whatever way you wish. Want to come up with your own customized options? That looks like it will be a possibility as well. Each sprue has enough to build 4 bodies, it looks like. They are all the same. But then that limits... Okay, I was going to say, there's only 3 shields on that, so you'd have some guys with the smaller one right there. Okay, that's not that bad though. Oh, no, you know what? I take that back. Check it out. There's some right there. I didn't even notice that. Well, that's good then. I don't know what we have in the way of head options. I think this braided section is the top knot of a head. And the bottom? I don't know how that works. To figure that out. Maybe you need to put 2 in. Maybe this is the front and the back half. That could be. That's a possibility. But then we have some heads like this guy right here. Nice details there. So what are we looking at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At least 8 heads. That's not too bad. 8 heads to 12 bodies, not including the command stuff. That's a pretty decent ratio. And I'm hoping that when we see the slingers or the hunters, I think that's what they were called, if they're going to have similar heads. So you know what, I'm going to hold on to these, so at least I know. I haven't ordered a box of slingers yet, but I know there's some included in the First Blood set, so I'm hoping. I'm going to hold on to all these extra heads, and we'll see how they go. So sit tight, we'll see what to expect from the Wadroon. Alright folks, I got started on our Wadroon, and I have built a mixture of stuff, whether it's actually game legal or not, I don't care. So here we have, I guess this would be a blooded, because he's running around with too many weapons. And I was totally wrong. There's, gosh, I don't even know how many heads there are. There are a ton of heads in this box. I should have counted before I started filming this, but I didn't. Maybe I will put it in the comments. Now, one thing is very obvious with these guys. They are barely, and I mean barely, going to fit on their bases. We already saw it with the Scion of Conquest earlier. Painted him up. They're big dudes. They are very big and very burly dudes. Another blooded. I tried to put as many masked faces as I could. They are quite heavily armored. I mean, they are definitely a step up. This guy's not going to stand up. That's okay. You know what? Actually, I have one glued to a base somewhere. Here's what I was talking about. Not sure if they're going to be game legal because technically, actually, the Braves are supposed to have spears, whereas the Blooded have the close combat weapons, but I figure I'm just going to use this as whatever he wants to be. He's got a shield. He's smarter than his buddies. Here we have an actual Brave. Again, quite decked out. If you dig that heavier armor look for your more savage, brutal-looking orc types. Here we have a model using the command parts, the double blade, and the giant feathered horned helmet. He's leading the charge. I have absolutely no idea how you are going to manage to get these guys to rank up. Good luck to you. Honestly and truly, good luck to you, because they're just so big and bulky. I thought I had some more. Oh, I do. You know what? I actually went ahead and built up somebody with a standard. He's waving it around. I dig his almost like Mesoamerican looking helmet there. Actually, I look at this guy, I look at his helmet, I look at how ripped he is, and I just think Hulk in Planet Hulk. That's where my mind goes. Funny enough, as I was looking at the box art, our Wadroon tend to have all sorts of skin tones, which I found interesting, rather than just a plain generic green. So yeah, they do have some with lighter as well as darker colors. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do just that. I'm going to have a whole bunch of variously colored, of different complexion Wadroon. And I thought, you know what? Why don't we actually try painting some? So I did. These are just real quick paint jobs. I got to touch them up actually, just a teeny tiny bit. But again, I dig how they've actually got clothes on. I hated that about the Savage Orcs that GW's made, and I'm quite tempted to pick up the new Underworlds team just to see how they compare in terms of size. Again, barely fitting on those bases. They also have these weird spiky protrusions everywhere, on their legs, on their shoulders. I don't know if that's supposed to be some kind of ritual scarring or piercings or what exactly is going on there. I don't know. I don't know if he's got like weird bone spur growth going on, or if he's poked those through his armor. I don't know. I really don't know. So that would be a brave, and then this guy would be a blooded. He's fighting with dinosaur molars and jawbones. And again, see, actually, now that I think about it, these are the same body. So I'm thinking we'll try a couple of different skin tones while we're at it, in case you're curious just how they stack up to actual Conquest models. While our Raider friend here is a little bit taller, I gotta give the bulk to the Wadroon. They feel chunkier and more substantial. I don't think it's fair putting a resin hero model on there. I love the blooded model. Wait, the blooded versus the blooded. Could be an interesting fight. So you can see here, and then grabbing a 100 Kingdoms crossbowman. Of course, why would we want to have a boring crossbowman? We can have a flashy, hunter, but that's a different story. Longbowman, hunter, whatever they're called. But again, Wadroon still got the bulk over him. In case you're curious how they're going to stack up with other orc green skin types, well, now's your chance. The proportions are obviously going to be much more true scale, I guess, compared to a GW Iron Jaws here. The Iron Jaws are a little bit thicker and I don't know. I can't think of the word I'm thinking of here. Squat, maybe? The proportions are a lot more kind of dense and low to the ground. Grabbing a Peculiar Companions Benin Orc that they did. Or no, those were the goblins that were Benin type, but very African tribesman style armor and stuff. Of course, his skirt there looks more Pacific Island, but that's a whole other story. Grabbing a Yadaro Savage Orc. Actually, I think they'd fit in pretty well with the Wadroon. If you wanted to mix and match, mix all these guys up for some sort of Kings of War type unit, that would probably be a really cool way to go. I especially think if you take like some of these Peculiar Companion ones, bump them up to about 150%. He's only regular 100% size. They are 3D printed. With one of the Raging Heroes orcs from their Thieves Guild set. Female Nidaro Savage Orc. I think they're going to fit in pretty good. I really think of all the various types out there, I think both in terms of style, size, and weaponry, with just all the bones everywhere, very crude implements of fighting. I think that the Mantic ogres are going to look a little bit wee compared to these guys. That's kind of sad. That's kind of sad, I gotta say. I really like the Mantic ogres too, but they're just the size. I mean, considering you get 12 Wadroon in a box, I think if you wanted to get really creative with your basing, honestly, these guys could probably fit on a 40mm square. Quite easily. Something to think about if you wanted to go that route. I could totally see them working multi-based. I really can. Of course, you wouldn't really be able to use them as much in Conquest then, or that might work to your advantage. You might just want to use wound tokens or something as the unit gets whittled down, I guess, because, like I said earlier, I really don't know how they're going to all rank up. So, overall, I really like the kit. I held on to the last few bodies because I'm really kind of curious to see. I do have the starter set for First Blood, teaser, taster set, whatever they call them. I do have that coming. I would like to see how these parts all work with the slingers, or the hunters, or whatever they're called, the spearmen / the guys with the big fancy carnival feathers. That's what I'm really kind of curious to see. So if the parts are compatible, that'd be really cool. Considering, again, like I said, there's tons of extra heads in that box that I didn't even touch. So I think you're going to be able to get a lot of variation out of these guys. And, I mean, just also in terms of weapons, I don't think of any of the guys I've built yet, other than, there's a couple of chopper-type blades. Everybody is basically uniquely armed at this point. There's actually quite a variety of shields there too. There's the big, huge, larger ones, very African, very Persian looking in terms of like just the bulkiness. There's the big square ones as well, which I haven't used yet. So I think there's a lot going on here, and I think there's a lot to work with, especially if you want to get creative and, mix and match bits and throw them into other games and just have a big pile of nasty, mean-looking, multi-hued, orcish types just steamrolling you on the table with their Amazon women on giant feathered dinosaurs. Because you know what? Honestly, that's what we're all here for, and that's what's coming. Once those are here, I can pretty much guarantee you will be seeing them shortly as soon as I can get my hands on them. So yeah, do take a look. I will put a link down below if you've never checked out Bellum's site for their Conquest game. The rules are there. The lore is there. There's all sorts of stuff to check out. And I gotta say, the quality of the models continues to grow and impress me. So by all means, guys, keep up the work. You are definitely keeping me interested and excited for what's around the corner. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.